Good morning. Sorry about the voice. Welcome to Kept in Stitches. I just decided to pop on and go live this morning since I'm surrounded by this mountain of scraps that I have to press and sort and put into some order. They're all for my slow stitching, by the way, the majority of them. Good morning, Danielle, and good morning, Carol, again, by the way. Um, but yeah, excuse the voice. It's a little raspy this morning. At least I have a little bit of a voice. But so anyway, I just thought that I would come on and chat and kind of share with you a little bit of how I do organize and what I'm going to do with all these scraps that I use for slow stitching. They were a little bit organized, but as they grow, they tend to get out of order again. So I am conquering this mountain of scraps today. Hello, Marcia. Welcome to you. Good morning. And so, first of all, I store the majority of them in this type of container. They come, I get them from Walmart and they come in a 4-pack and they're only $10. So very, very um, economical and a great way to store them because I can sort them by color. Each bin has its own color or colors, depending on how much that I have. And they fit nicely in the cubbies that I have behind me and over in my slow stitching area. So I use those for the majority, and then some, I also do collage quilting. So some, if they are of the correct size and a fabric that I want to cut down, I cut strips that are about 4.5 by 10 inches, 6 to 10 inches, and keep in these by color that I use for collage quilting. So I have both of those out so that I can cut them down if need be and put them in there. So that is my process. I have my iron over here on this side. I have my cutting mat here and my pressing station set up here. And here is the first bin that I am working through and doing because I've semi-sorted it by color already. But good morning, Iron Stitches. It is great to see you as well. But so yes, we have little scraps like this because those of you that do slow stitching or have followed me and watched me do some of that, you know that we do use very small scraps in our slow stitching. So I'm just going to start pressing these, and if they are strips that are like this, I will keep them folded. It's easier to store them that way. But as you can see, I'm kind of working on brown tone fabrics right now. And we're just pressing all them because it's a lot easier to store and manage if you have them pressed instead of just a stack of all messed up fabrics trying to stack and put nicely away. So as you can see, those are kind of, I call them a mountain. I just hope we don't have an avalanche and they decide to fall down. But so what is everyone else working on their Monday morning that have joined me? I see we have two of these this size. I'm going to look and see what that is real quick. If it's 6 inches, and it is, we're going to set one of those aside over in my collage bin, and we'll keep one for the slow stitching. But sorry, my iron is making noise over there. I don't know if you can hear that or not. This one looks like it. Yeah, we're gonna put that one there too after I press it. But so it'll take a while, but we will get these organized. Turn that off so it quits making that noise. Had the steam on. I don't think we need that for this. But it's getting a little noisy. Iron Stitches says that she is just sitting here crocheting little pumpkins. All right. I love those little pumpkins. They are so cute. And Marcia says that she's working on a project hand applique. Love hand applique as well. So yes, I have a lot of hand applique whips to work on and get accomplished at some point in time. But in here, this looks like, I don't know how this got in there, but this is a full fat quarter. So we are going to set that off to the side and put that with the fat quarter storage. And let me see what we have here. See, if it's a third of a yard, I have another area that goes to. So we're also going to set that one aside. We don't want to put that in with our slow stitching. That can be used in a quilt or something else that size. So, and this one looks like it's needs to go in with the collage. Yep. We'll just stick that in that box over there. Oh, I don't know how I lost my voice. I just woke up. I forget. I think it was Saturday morning and didn't have a voice. So, but it will come back eventually. See, I don't know how these got thrown in with the slow stitching, but that is a full fourth of a yard there. So it also needs to be put up to go in the area for that. But, and we need to grab some more behind us. Looks like I've pretty much gone through those rounds. I'm going to work on some of the blue that is sitting up here. Grab a handful. It just keeps coming. Okay. Here we go. We got more to work on. Fall is in the air. Yes, it is, especially here. It's been cold. In fact, it's only 65 degrees here right now. But I believe we're supposed to be in the low 80s for about the next 3 days, and then we'll probably have a cold spell again. So I wish it would just make up its mind so I know which clothes to keep to the front of the closet. I like fall. Fall is my favorite time of year. Who else likes fall? Or what's your favorite season of the year? I'm gonna fold these strips so they're easier to put in my container. And I see that we have more of that same fabric. This one I'm going to end up cutting a section off of so that it can go in with the collage because it's that size. I love autumn colors. I do too. Though some of you have heard me say, um, I used to go to the one local quilt shop that's was well known in the tri-state area here. And I also worked at for a while. When the one gal, when she would see me in there, she says, "Oh yeah," she says, "you're the one that likes that dead foliage color." I'm like, I've never heard it called that before. But okay. So we need this. I'm going to cut it at the full 10 inches. Keep it on the cutting mat, Jean. There we go. Put that over there. And put the rest with blues. And we're going to fold that. So this is definitely going to take a while. That's a positive outlook. Yeah. Oh. And Carol also likes fall. All right. I think fall and spring are a couple of the best. Summer can get awful hot, and depending on where you live, winter can be a total bummer. So, when I was a kid, I enjoyed winter, but not so much now as an adult. Let me see, we're going to keep those off to the side. Looks like somebody pulled this out of my 2.5-inch strips, but that's okay. We can put it in with the slow stitching. That happens. Fabrics get pulled and they get thrown in areas. It's like we seem to have a lot of this fabric in here. Hello, Gladys. Welcome to you this morning. Yeah, this was not planned. I decided if I'm going to be sitting here working on this, I might as well go ahead and just pop up on a live and sit and chat and do a little stitch and chat with some of you that find me and pop on this morning. Hello, Kim. It's great to see you as well. I always like going through these fabrics and remembering what it is you actually used them for. And this, set one of those aside for the collage. So those of you just popping on, okay, I missed somebody. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. It's not intentional. That chat can get away from you and out of view while you're sitting down looking down. So definitely not intentional. Just pop in and say something else if I haven't seen you. So I know you're here and can say hello. But yeah, I was saying, as you press all these, it's fun to recall some of the projects and quilts that some of these fabrics went into. A lot of these are old Thimbleberries fabrics. And of course, I have a lot of Civil War era fabrics, so there'll be a lot of scraps of that in here, which in some of my sorting and trying to make room in here for everything. Also, as you know, that I've been doing for a few months right now already. I come across some of the projects, and a few of them I decide, I don't really think I want to do that anymore, but there's, quite a bit of fabric in some of them. So I have been sorting that and putting it on the shelves back with the regular yardage instead. And then some of it you think, ooh, what could I make with it instead? That blue is beautiful, doesn't it? There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful blues in here, which, like I said, right now, a lot of these that I'm going through are old Thimbleberries and Civil War era ones. But hello, Christine. Welcome to you this morning. Yes, I still don't have my voice. I've already got some of that in there, and I can tell that that's the size for collage. I'm going to put that in there. except we already have one that size in there, so nope, we'll put it back with this. Oh, this is an oldie. This is an oldie. That almost looks vintage. Had that one for a while. I can't get it open. Here we go. Yeah, that's the size that, except we're going to keep it with that. And look at this. That's funny. This has a little label on it that says hat. I must have been using it for applique at one time. We'll get rid of that sticker. This is an old vintage looking one as well. And we're going to cut that odd piece hanging off the side there off of there. Don't like to store them that way. We'll cut that off and make it even. Hello, Jim. It's great to see you. Welcome. But yeah, I have several of this size container, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get in most of them at least 3 different colors stored, so they will all be stored and separated by color like they're supposed to be started out as, but you pull some out, they get thrown into another another container, and then they get all mixed up. So getting these back, well, that's a large piece, isn't it? Pull it that way. Yeah, I think if I get through all this today, I will be amazed. Let's just say that. We won't get through it during this live stream. That's for sure. You would have to be, and this is an old Thimbleberries fabric as well. It's showing up kind of black, but that's a dark blue floral. And it says 4.5-inch square on that sticker. We'll take that off. We don't need that on there. And I'm just making sure that these are, like I said, I stacked all those at the same time and pressed them because yeah, you can tell that these were cut and left over from some quilt, which it's old Thimbleberries fabric also. I used to belong to the Thimbleberries club, and there were quilt patterns that came out monthly that you went and made. So that's why I have so much Thimbleberries fabric. But, I'm trying to think of her name, but the woman that was the Thimbleberries designer is from Minnesota. I actually, now that is long. You can tell that came from left over from the backing on a quilt. Wow. Okay, we're gonna try and get this pressed and folded. And there is Joe. Welcome to you. How have I been doing? She always asks. We don't even want to go into that, Joe. Too long a story and just too much. Not. Let's just say things are going okay. Things have changed. Um, with the hubby. So yeah, my time is it's a little bit more limited and taken up with that, and that's just what we'll say as far as that goes. But thank you. I do appreciate all of you and your concern and care and prayers. Know that it's just I kind of don't am not one that likes to share a bunch of that type of information. So I apologize, but I know most of you will understand that. So let's just say it's a challenge. Now, this little piece I'm not going to keep. Normally I would, but there's a limit to the madness here. So I'm pulling out those tiny little ones. I see I do not need those. One can go also. We don't need to keep the itty bitty ones. Thank you. It is great to see you. I haven't been around as much. How is Stitches? Stitches is is I was going to say a feisty little thing. They're just kidding. They're growing up, but she is doing just great. She is um my husband's my husband's dog she has become. So she spends most of her time with him and is his life support. So, but she is great. She comes out to the cottage usually once or twice a day to visit, and she loves to get in Whip's toy box and try to steal the toys and go out with them. But which she's outside right now, I can tell, because every time she's out, she comes and she jumps on the cottage door. So I think that needs to go into green. Somehow that's in with the blue. Oops. Switch that over into a different stack here. Put that with my blue. Now this, I think, yep, that's a fat quarter with a little piece cut out, but we are going to put that back with the fat quarters. Toy stealer, yes. Hello, Pastry Queen Farm Adventures. It is great to see you. Oh, I'm going to say your name wrong, so I'm just not going to say it right now. I'm trying to, it was on the tip of my tongue, but it left me. But I always, I always say your name wrong, so I don't want to do that this morning. But it's a pretty turquoise one. I always have a hard time on the turquoise deciding whether I want it with the blues or the greens. But I think it's going to go with the greens. We have a lot more blues, so there will be more room in with the greens. Lynette Jensen, yes. Thank you, Kim. I would have been trying to remember that. Lynette Jensen, yes. And I can't think right now of the town that setting those over there. They're not. Oh, we're done with that. We are done with this stack. So we are going to put that in the container there for now, because that is all the blue that was in here. And let me see, we're going to go to this brown and gold now. Let's see where it ends. Some falls on the floor. Which most of this is going to be Civil War era fabric. Oops, sorry, my back's to you. Don't talk with your back. And hello, Prep for Eternity. It's great to see you again. Okay, trying to get these all out of here. And because I do store the blacks and browns together, we're going to go ahead and set that black up there too. Because some of it is covering the rest of our browns down here. Oops, that's red. Okay, I think we got it. Because we already have a little stack of that started over here. And this, again, not going to keep that narrow. I will keep this, but not the little itty bitty narrow ones. If my scrap stash wasn't this big, I would probably keep some of those because they can be used in the slow stitching, but I have plenty of fabric here to use for that, so I don't need to add to it all by keeping the very, very small ones anymore. You will just get rid of them. Yeah, see, this one has been cut and used before, I see, but yep, that we don't need, that we don't need, that we don't need, that we don't need. That one we just need to cut that little part off of there. Use little scissors. I just don't want this little piece. Whoops. My dull scissors. They're not really for fabric, but that's all right. Okay. Speaking of fall, there's a beautiful fall leaves on that one. And this is Civil War era one. Joe Morton fabric. How many of you are familiar with Joe Morton? It was funny. I first was collecting and working with Civil War era fabrics. I thought Joe Morton was a man. And then I realized, no, it is a woman. I have almost every one of her pattern books, and I have fabrics from every single one of her fabric collections. A lot of Joe Morton fabric. This is a beautiful Civil War era one too. Beautiful. Black and gold with rusty red flowers. Okay, kind of went to a mixed color on that one. See, we're pressing it, but that needs to go up with the cream colored ones. We don't want that with the browns. Too light. Back to a Thimbleberries one. Yeah, we got the gold and goldish color ones and the browns I keep together. Sometimes it's hard on some fabrics to decide, okay, how we want to store them and which ones we want them to be with. All righty, Kim, thank you for joining me this morning. It was great to see you. You have a blessed day as well. I'm trying to think what this fabric came from, but I've used it a lot in a lot of patriotic themed quilts because I usually use a cream or a light tannish brown backgrounds because I do not like white. I don't like the stark white in a Americana themed or patriotic quilt. So I will use cream and beige and tan and golds instead for my backgrounds the majority of the time for those. Again, I apologize for my hoarse voice, but it's getting a little better than it was. This one is the thimbleberries, and it on the sticker, it actually still has the number for the fabric that it was, because you could tell on the thimbleberries patterns from the Thimbleberries Club, it would have that number on there, so you knew exactly which fabric you were supposed to be using. But I don't need that on there now, so we will remove that. Like I said, there's a lot of Civil War era scraps in this stack. I wonder how much slow stitching one can do. I think I have plenty of scraps to last a long time. I might have to start making up some slow stitching kit if I ever figure out how to get my Shopify set up. I may start doing that. Or we'll see. Okay, other thimbleberries. It's dwindling slowly but surely. You can't see. I mean, you can see that. So yes, you have an idea of how much I have to go through, but it will feel so good when these are all pressed, sorted, and back in order. And when I go through them, I need to make sure that I put them back neatly when I'm done as found, instead of just stacking them in a pile and saying, oh, we'll get to them later. That is the worst thing you can do in your quilting, sewing, crafting area. We are all guilty of that, I know, but that is a terrible habit that we get into, and we need to learn to put things away after we are done with them. It makes life in your space so much easier. And if you can't do it right at the time that you're working on a project, at least set up a time at the end of the day when you know that you're done for the most in your area that you work. And before you go in or leave, I say go in because my cottage is in the backyard. So before you decide to go in for the day, go through and straighten up and put everything that you've left laying out back where it belongs. And then you won't have that struggle and that problem with all the clutter that ends up where it doesn't belong. And then you can't find things because they're not where they're supposed to be. And if you keep reorganizing, You will also have a problem finding things because you decide that there's a better place to put it, and you go and you look where it used to be and it's not there. So then you wonder, well, where is it? And you have to keep looking. I seem to have a problem with that. My projects that are whips, for the most part, those that are on the inventory, some of them don't always get updated right away and put on the inventory. So those are the ones that ooh, which fabric? Which fabric, Danielle? I don't know which one I was at when you said that. But she says, ooh, I love that fabric. You could just say all of it, but this is a beautiful gold one here. But sorry for the cough. I think I might be trying to get a cold, but it's not quite taking hold, which is a good thing. Boy, there is a lot of this fabric here left over. When they're the same, I try to keep them together. And I will as I am putting these away. The larger dark brown on the bottom. This one, yeah, that's a fall one with leaves. Don't know if that's I don't know if that's the one you're referring to, Danielle. I'm trying to remember what that was used in. Don't recall right now. Okay. Yes, that is a beautiful fabric. I mean, you could just cut it out and use it as a top of a tree. But yeah, many uses for that one. But I think I really do. I need to, whenever I have time. I have no extra time, but I need to figure out Shopify and start letting go of some of the massive amount of fabric that I have. I even have kits that I know I'm never going to get around to making. I need to prioritize them and start getting rid of some of them. Let other people that don't have all the stash enjoy them. Okay. I lost my list. I had a list on how I was going to separate these colors. Brown, black, and I think it went with the blue. We're going to set that there for now. I know the black does go with the brown. So, hello, Eva. It is great to see you. I have a hoarse voice. Other than that, I myself am doing well. Just just not as much time anymore to to do to do things. Don't like that feel of that fabric as well. You can even tell when you press it. Isn't that? That's funny how Some fabrics just really have a different feel to them. It's okay for slow stitching. I probably would decide I don't want to, open this. Well, nope, I thought it was folded. It's not. It's all one strip. But here we have buttons. And that looks like a rather large piece of fabric. I'm thinking it might be, nope, it's not a fat quarter. But yeah, that needs to get pressed and put in the stack that goes in the other area with the larger pieces. Shouldn't be in with the slow stitching stuff. Set that up there to go in that area. And we have some leftover triangles here. Those buttons, they are cute. I think they were used on a sample quilt I made when I was working at the quilt shop that was all done in black and white with a little bit of red. It was a bear that was balancing on a ball. And it was a baby quilt that was done in black and white and a little bit of red. Not your normal colors, but they I know in the pattern it was saying something about that infants don't actually see in color at first. Remember that part of it. Here we've got one. We've got to see that is a strip. But that's black and those are little hearts on it. Don't usually see a black fabric with hearts, but I'm debating. Do I want that with the black or would it be? I'm going to keep it with the black. Black and white. Won't use a lot of solid black. Um, I don't have, yeah, I'm not doing memberships anymore, Eva. So I don't have the membership Zooms anymore. This large piece needs to go back up in the other area. I have a method to my madness of all my fabric scraps. So that goes in an area that is anything that is like from a fourth of a yard to a third of a yard goes in a drawer itself. It doesn't fit with my folding method on the shelves. Only a half a yard and up goes on the shelves. Anything less than that has a different way that I store them. So that's what I say. Some of the fabrics just get pulled for something, set in a pile, and then they all get in a pile, and then you have to go through that pile and put everything back where it belongs. See, some of these are actually I'm getting fabric threads all over me. The life of a quilter or a sewist or a crafter. We wear our trade all over us. I often end up I'm running out for something. I will a lot of times have a thimble on Don't realize it until I get up to the counter to pay. And well, that is a large. That's a half a yard of fabric there. Who knows how that got in the stack? But yeah, that doesn't belong there. Okay. We're keeping these separated as I put them in there. Okay. We have a bunch of red. Red is my favorite color. Any of those? There we've got a black one that fell in there. But red is my favorite color. I have a lot of red fabric. I know this isn't all the red, but we have the red and the pink together. That's it. And we have this black that somehow got down in there as it got pre-sorted and thrown in there. Hello, Terry. It is great to see you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Oops. I do keep the triangles because in slow stitching, they can be used. So, all right. Add these to the blacks that we just put in there. Better be watching the time also. Not that it totally, making sure I got all that pulled out of there. Boy, we have a lot of green. A lot of green in here. That doesn't belong in there. That belongs up there with the multi. There's some yellow in there. Okay. Here we go with Thimbleberries fabrics again, I see. This one I think is going to have to, yep. That needs to go up in the other stack, but we're gonna press that just a little bit better before we put it up there. Because that is a fourth of a yard. So it goes better in the container when I put it in there. Boy. So much fabric. I should have gotten out and shown you because I didn't do a week in review this week because I just didn't have the time to set it up, and there wasn't that much to share this week. Not that I didn't do a lot, there just wasn't a lot of stuff to be able to share for the week in review. But I did make a quilt. That the pattern is a beautiful pattern. It was a kit that I got, and the way that the kit was put together, the fabric was in a roll, so you couldn't really tell exactly what the fabrics were. Not keeping that one. So before I started it, I kind of thought, and I was telling some friends that I thought it was going to look like a modeled mess when it was done, that it would look like there's 8 different fabrics in it. But I said, I think it's going to end up looking like one fabric, and it's going to look like you're walking through the woods and there's a bunch of fallen leaves on the ground. It's going to look like the floor of the wooded area or forest or whatever that you're walking through. I thought I could get back there. I think I know where it is. I would show you, but it is a great example of how the wrong fabrics can totally ruin a quilt pattern. There was a lot of cutting, a lot of pieces that went into this quilt. And it looks like a solid piece of fabric when it's done. So beautiful pattern, but totally wrong fabrics to use in that pattern. And so it was a waste of time as far as I consider. Somebody else may like it. I don't know. I will show it, and if eventually I don't think I could get back there quick enough now to get it, but I will show it on my next video and see what you have, what the rest of you think. But it is a really good example for wrong choice of fabrics for a quilt. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to end up doing with it. It might look good on I don't know, on a table. It could be used as a table topper, I guess, for fall. One I wouldn't care as much if somebody did happen to get something on it. Otherwise, most that I put on the table, if we're going to be using the table, the quilt comes off. There's a 30s, good old 30s fabric. Little flower pots with little flowers. That's a thimbleberries fabric there again. Most of these have been in this pink family have been, and they are from the quilt that is presently on my bed. You see, I kind of pull to the side because I'm kind of sorting also as I do these, and I'm keeping the darker together and the medium and the light together as I put these away also. So I'm ending up with stacks on my ironing surface here. Ooh, this is a beautiful, beautiful fabric. To see what's that one. Yep, that's got to go up with the other stack. But I'm not sure what collection this one is. Oops, I think my iron needs to reheat. It's lost its heat there. But we're getting close to an hour, and I've gone through blues, some browns, and some blacks. And we haven't gotten, this is it was overflowing. We've gotten it down some, but I'm going to continue to go through these that I have out here before I end. So, but I need to, I think you can see it on my surface here, but this is a beautiful fabric. It needs to go up in the other area fabric. And this is a Civil War era fabric. Those of you that love Civil War era fabrics, you can tell those right away when you see them. most of the time. Hello, Melissa. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we got several strips going on here. Separate them out a little bit. They're all the same fabric, which it's also a Civil War era one. I'm going to press them together. I'm trying to think, what else have I been doing lately? I'm getting stuff ready for the upcoming new stitch along for those that want to participate. It's going to be different. It's going to be a twist on a fusion quilt. The name of it is called One Size Fits All, because there will be alternate ways that you can, if you don't like one portion of what's being done, there will be alternate ways that you can still make the quilt doing something different on that portion if it's something that you don't like. Such as embroidery, or there may be some crocheting involved. So for those of you that don't crochet or don't like embroidery, don't like handwork, there will be alternate things that you can put in those areas instead and still be able to participate if you like and do the stitch along as well. But I think it's going to be a fun one, different, thinking a little outside of the box. A combination of things put into one quilt, and that's why it is called a fusion quilt. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just a lot to get ready, to get enough of the stages of it done so that I can have a sample to show you before I introduce it. So you have that to look forward to coming up. And Miss Tilly is around. You never know where she is. I will say that. She's very, very sly and very sneaky. And I think she reads my mind and listens to what I may say out loud, and then decides to play mischief, as most squirrels do. I was looking for three books the other day. Fall fabric, and you're wearing fall colors. You're making me want to go find my fake fall pumpkins and set them out. Okay. Yes, I was working on fall fabrics, wasn't I? And talking about fall fabrics. So, but this is also Civil War era right here. But yeah, I love fall colors. So I'm happy that the weather's changing and I can pull out my fall colors to wear, which I ordered last night. I ordered a couple new fall shirts. So I'm anxious for those to arrive and be able to start wearing. But anyway, about Tilly, and I had um three of my reference and pattern books that I was looking for that had to do with uh, vintage crochet and crochet edgings and that type of thing. And I spent like 2.5 days looking for them, and all over and every place that they should be, and they weren't. And I kept wondering, well, where in the world did they go to? I mean, and I looked exactly where they're supposed to be 5 times and did not. They They were not there. I mean, I went through each individual one on the shelf. And then I went through, I don't know if you can see, but up above my head, all the way across there are pattern books. I went through all of them looking for it, thinking, okay, where did they get moved to? Or did they get misplaced and put someplace else? And not was not finding them. So, and as one says, I knew they'd be the last place you looked, which I always say, well, yes, obviously, it would be rather odd if you kept looking after you found them. But so anyway, I went back and decided, okay, I will look again where they're supposed to be. And they were right there where they were supposed to be in the area that I had looked 5 times previously. So that is brown. So my theory is, because there was this strange little laughter coming from a corner when I did find them. So I do believe that Miss Tilly had them and snuck them back in where they belonged after she watched me go all over the cottage looking for them. I think that was part of her mischief. I think she had a fun time with that. However, I did not. So I do know where they are now. As long as she isn't listening and decides to grab them and run off with them again. We will hope not. I don't want to have to be on the search for them again, because I will probably need them later on today, because yeah, I won't be able to sit here and do this all day. That's a large piece. I can tell that needs to, yeah, that needs to go in the other area. We're almost done with these reds. Look, see, if you keep going, you can actually accomplish something. And it helps when you have someone to talk to and keep you on task, because you don't wander as much, especially if I'm doing a live little chat with you. It'd be rude to leave while chatting with you, wouldn't it? So it keeps you at task, and you can get quite a bit done. And it's just a little bit, yeah, we're just going on an hour right now. So in an hour's time, I got half of this container done. So that's good. That's an accomplishment. This is an ugly red, but it comes in handy at times. It's too bright of a red for me, and it's just, well, it's reading darker on there, but not one that gets used often. And this is kind of a burgundy brownish red. It's a Thimbleberries fabric as well. There, we got through that stack that I had there. Awesome timing. Not planned, but that worked out well. Put these on the, because that's a bigger piece, we're going to put that on the bottom of that. And now we can stack them by kind of how I sorted out here. Oops. Back there. And pink on top. And we can set that over there in our container. We have all of those done, and they're stacked and sorted, so I can put them in there proper. Oops, we got a green that snuck out there. We haven't done the green yet. Okay, there it goes. But so I know I've been rattling on as I've been doing this, but you've seen a little bit of how I am sorting through all of this, and that will all fit by the time I'm done in at least four. I'm hoping to get it in four. There may be five. Yeah, because the creams and the whites will probably go in one bin itself. So there will probably be five of these containers that will all fit on the top of my slow stitching area, stacked nicely, and they will have their labels on them for the colors. And it will be much easier to just pull those down when I need and know what I'm looking for and keep it all organized and where they each belong. I'm going to move this over here out of my way. These little ones, if you've seen these puzzle piece wool mat things, come in handy for small things, and they come in handy when you want to set your cordless iron, because the base does get warm. If you want to set that someplace that doesn't have padding on it that you're worried about, it works really nice for setting your iron on. Just a quick little tip there. But anyway, it has been enjoyable. Thank you for being with me as I got through some of this mountain of scraps that I have to iron and sort and get reorganized for my slow stitching area. I hope that you all have a very blessed week, a great day. Awesome weather. I know it's been quite the weather pattern that we've been having all over the United States. So let's hope for some beautiful weather and some beautiful days now, and lots of enjoyable stitching and quilting. So take care, everyone. Thank you. Hope to see you again soon. Don't know when I'll pop on, but it's always fun just to be scrolling through and go, hey, there's Jean with Captain Stitches. So if you see me, please do pop on and share with others. So keep those viewing hours up. But thank you, everyone. Take care. And remember, in the meantime, I definitely can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.